Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning, everybody. It is the 26th. Markets are down. I tell you what, it snowed on Sunday here. I don't know if it snowed where you're at, but it got awfully cold, awfully fast, and suddenly everything feels extremely dreary. To the charts. This down. I'm feeling a lot better this week. I'm not 100%, but it'll take a few days for me to get there. Okay, so E-mini gapping down and then quite a bit of a further down move. So we're kind of testing the lower end of this range again, going back to where we were on Thursday after quite a tumultuous week last week. They're still talking about stimulus and everybody is talking happy like maybe we could get a deal today or tomorrow. But I don't know. Market's not happy, although probably a big factor here also. Coronavirus cases rising pretty much everywhere as winter sets in. Okay. Treasuries are actually kind of turning around. So after kind of having a range-bound day on Friday and that big down day on Thursday, now they're kind of coming back up. And we could be set up for like the mother of all short squeezes, actually. Especially if a deal doesn't happen. Even though I'm kind of expecting that a deal will happen. But with coronavirus cases rising and everything, and also the possibility that Republicans are going to hold the Senate. Yeah. So you got that going on. Oil down further off of still them expecting more supply than anticipated. So that's kind of putting pressure on them over here. The metals complex is still kind of a little confusing, to be honest. Gold has just gone back and forth around here a lot, frankly. Copper was moving up off of, supply issues. I'm not really sure why it's coming back down. Maybe they're thinking the coronavirus is a big deal and is going to affect them. Over here in the dollar index, you can see dollar a little bit higher. Not as high as it has been, but it is recovering a little bit. Kind of honestly felt like that the sell in the dollar just came in way too quickly, to be honest. Which really surprised me. Smoker, good morning. How are you? Let's turn the Texas speech on. Pull up the Twitter. Well, there's a big old iceberg there at 18. I kind of would not mind being long, but I think that we're a little too late for that. Yeah. Could have taken the long off of the open if we wanted to. So let's see how far back they come. Okay, we got the Texas speech going. Let's read Twitter. Europe new second wave lows. When it comes to high frequency activity tracking, momentum loss, to put it mildly, the question is, will European equity indexes break out of their ranges? So the European equities in particular have been taking this new wave pretty hard. Brannigan Barrett, I don't buy this bid up in yields for 1 second. Slowing economies, stimulus coming too late to be effective. Month end
Global virus risks, election risks, and Fed adding to the balance sheet into year end with more QE. Be aware of the head fake in U.S. 10-year yields. Well, so he's kind of feeling what I'm feeling here, which is that treasuries have been coming down here. He's talking opposite of me, but he's talking yields, not prices. But prices have been coming down here, and the yields have been moving up. And you got a lot of people short in the treasuries, and if this flips on its head, you could get a crazy, crazy short covering rally. So that's what I'm most interested in today. Also, I didn't, we were expecting that there should have been Rudy was saying 10 days before the election. I'll release more information, blah, blah, blah. Did he already release it all? Kind of wondering. I mean, there's been stuff, but not another big bomb drop. It kind of sounds like the big bomb has already happened, and it's not, nothing crazy is happening. Not this morning, at least. Probably I would have, if I was going to drop something big, I would have done it, yesterday. So I don't know. I'm looking for anything that I can pull onto here for information on the stimulus. Because the thing is that the comments that I've seen, at least overnight, seem to suggest, they seem to suggest that it's going to happen, but the market doesn't seem to believe that today, or at least they don't care. What do you think, guys? A video of Tesla's full self-driving beta are surfacing, and they're frightening, says Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge has kind of been anti-Tesla, it seems to me. I keep seeing negative headlines coming out of them. Okay, so there was... Okay, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to put something there. Get a few bites of food here, so I'm just going to eat that real quick. Okay. Well, see, the E-mini kind of looks to me like it wants to bounce here, to be honest with you. Like, they're well beyond. Well, we might as well. I'm not. It's Monday. It's Monday, so I got to be careful about things because of that. But I can try here. Of course. Gonna leave me hanging sixth in line? Speaker Pelosi has the height of power and expected to easily win another term, but 2 years ago, in order to secure the gavel, Pelosi put term limits on her tenure. Does she really plan to exit in 2 years? It's one topic she didn't care to discuss. Says Heather Cagle on Twitter. Well, that's an interesting one. Okay, so there you go. You see the treasury turn down there? I'm not going to chase this in the E-mini. I really need to take advantage. Well, I'm not ready to chase it yet. I'm feeling pretty antsy about it.
Rob Farley says morning all.
Hey, Rob. New poll shows deadlock races for the president and Senate seat in Georgia. If Donald Trump lost Georgia, that would be like a disaster. China's Ant Group to raise $34 billion in the largest ever IPO. Never heard of them. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay. So I got hit in over here. Although it kind of looks like I might have hit into a lure. So we would much prefer that to have gone bid. JP Morgan sees the S&P at 3,900 if Trump wins the election. So now Trump is more bullish than Biden? I think so. JP Morgan's research on who will win the election has been a little shaky. If there was a Donald Trump win on election night, the market would take off. Ooh, that felt good. You hear my back pop? You probably didn't want to hear that. Johnson spokesman, there is much to be done to bridge significant gaps. Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, missed his early morning TV appearances at the White House because of an incident that was unrelated to me but was shots fired in close proximity to my apartment, he told reporters outside the West Wing. Oh dear. So, still pretty grindy as we should expect on a Monday. I'm not particularly happy with the way that I took that trade in the E-mini because, well, I'm glad that I didn't chase it, but it was a pretty toxic fill, right? And now it's just kind of hanging out there in the 16 area. Texas 3-year-old fatally shoots self in chest at birthday party? What? Oh, that's terrible. Donald Trump cases up because we test a fake news media conspiracy. Many young people who heal very fast, 99.9% corrupt media conspiracy, all the time high. Oh, at all time high. On November 4th, topic will totally change. Vote. Okay. You know what? I feel like that Donald Trump is saying things that his supporters say and aren't necessarily the things that you should be saying on Twitter if you want to win an election. Just me. I could be dead wrong. No, Trafalgar Group. Did you guys see these polls? So Trafalgar Group had Donald Trump up in like almost every contested area. So they had him up in Florida, or sorry, well, yeah, in Florida, of course, but I think a lot of polls have him up in Florida. But they had him up in Arizona. They had him up in, I think it was Minnesota. And it was like they were saying Donald Trump was going to win all of those contested areas.
I2 Yanth Great says morning.
Good morning, which is kind of what happened last time around, but I'm a little skeptical. And then, let's assume that he's not winning in those areas. What does he got to do? Well, it's the
I2 Yanth
coronavirus
Great
going,
says Trump
right?
only needs to win PA to win at this point.
It's not just PA. So I have a video coming out, at the market open about, will the markets rise or fall if Trump loses? And I show you the map that I had made. It was kind of like, it wasn't a best case scenario. I say in the video it was a best case scenario for Donald Trump, but it wasn't quite. best case scenario. It was kind of more of like the if the Donald Trump uh, theory about polling comes through, what would be like a realistic scenario? Okay, good that my 18.5 went bid.
I2 Yanth Great says electoral tie goes to Trump.
So here's the one where I got it, that it was within 2. Now they're saying that he's going to get Wisconsin, I believe is the one that they were saying that he was going to get. So then, of course, it's he easily wins. They were also saying that he was going to get Arizona. So they're saying that the map is going to be more like this. But then when you look at it around, then you look at the way that the main polling shows. The main polling shows that it's more like this. Even Ohio, I think that they had that, and this would be that way. And they're even putting Texas in like, I mean, they're saying that it could be like just an absolute rout. So I don't know. Now here's the other funny thing is that if you watch social media, I'm seeing like Donald Trump parades in California and New York and all these places. And it's like a lot of people. I don't know where you get, like, these are huge parades showing support for him. So there's like a concerted campaign to make California and New York go red, which I just think is absolutely crazy. Okay, so see, they hit into my 18.5 again, and now this 18 is bid. So hmm. Fueled by concerns about racial justice and voter suppression, along with distrust of President Trump, Black Trump Americans are rushing to the polls in huge numbers. Says CNN
I2 Yanth Great
Politics.
says I'm a Biden supporter, but I dunno man, I think the polls in PA are lacking. I don't trust Nate Silver. If he wins PA, he probably wins as well.
I think that Arizona and Pennsylvania are probably really close, for sure. So, like, let's go look at Real Clear Politics. That was a little bit better action right there off of that last little move. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Florida. Where's Arizona? Arizona. There we go. Okay. So let me do the first one. I think that Arizona is probably the closest because here you've got a lot of polls that are showing it's really close, and then you get Susquehanna here is +1. Okay. Which I don't know. Let's go look. 538 pollster ratings. Why do they have a star on their name?
Uzi Knesset says morning peeps.
Morning, Uzi. How are you positioned? Search for pollster. Susquehanna. Wait, not with a star. Okay. So they rate them as a C, and they are have a Democrat bias. So that one would suggest it's not necessarily a biased poll so much as it is that they just haven't been incredibly predictive in the past. Okay. But so, just them having Trump up in +1 in Arizona, that one's really close. All right. I was talking to a friend in Arizona the other day, and kind of given the arguments against Joe Biden, and he wasn't buying it. The one that I was absolutely flabbergasted by was saying, well, if Joe Biden becomes president, they're probably going to push for like free movement across the border. Well, to be specific, Joe Biden has said that on day one he's going to rescind all of these executive orders that Donald Trump has done on the border, which means that they will start accepting all asylum claims. Um, encourage families to come to the border, um, and get rid of this stay in Mexico policy where they were holding the people in Mexico instead of the United States for processing, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, if Joe Biden was elected on day one, he does what he says he's going to do, it would be like a flood of people coming across the border. It would be just like it was, 2 years ago, times 10, because it's a Democrat president. It'll be an absolute madhouse. And they're like, "Oh, I'm not convinced that's going to happen." I'm like, "Are you like, where have you been the past 4 years? Like, they've been wanting to do this the whole time. He says he's going to do. You don't think he's going to do it?"
Reset is coming.
The Great Reset, maybe. Anyways, Arizona, really, really close. Now, Pennsylvania doesn't look that close when you look at the polling. Even Fox and Rasmussen only have Biden +5, +3. Okay. But if you look at Trafalgar, and I don't think that they show Trafalgar on here. Oh, okay. So here's a Trafalgar group one. No, there's been a more recent one, I swear. Well, maybe not. Here's Trafalgar group says Biden +2. That was like 2 weeks ago. Okay. Michigan, Susquehanna has them, or sorry, Wisconsin has them on a tie. But Biden +5-4. Okay. Florida, even in Florida, they're showing, well, this one is kind of mixed. They have Rasmussen has him Trump +4. Some of the more Democrat leaning polls have Biden up 2. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing the Democrats take Florida, but the polling says that I can't really know. So when you go back to that map, it's like all of those question areas, like the polling is saying that it's going to go one way or another. That's the thing that's so funny, is like everybody's been concerned about a contested election and all of that stuff, but all of the polling is saying that it's not going to happen, that Joe Biden's just going to win on election night. And if he doesn't win, if the Republican theory of polling on the shy Trump voter ends up being correct, then that kind of shows that Donald Trump will probably easily win on election night. So the contested election thing won't happen.
Uzi Knesset says I contributed in FL to lying about my support for Biden to pollsters. Hee.
Right. I'm sure that it's got to account for at least 1 or 2%.
Let's not make this personal, says, and then Trump will contest.
I mean, it depends. Like the place where Trump is going to contest is going to be Pennsylvania. So did you see, for instance, like a really great example of this?
Let's not make this personal, says they are trying to push voter fraud.
Over the weekend, there was a court case in Pennsylvania where their Supreme Court said that Pennsylvania doesn't have to follow the
Uzi Knesset
law.
says there's scenarios in which either candidate will contest.
And where they don't have to follow the law to verify voter signatures on the ballot. So it's normally you have to look at their signature on file and the signature on the ballot, and if they don't match, then the ballot is disqualified. And their Supreme Court is saying that they don't have to do that, which to me is like super crazy. Like, if you don't want to do that, then pass the law and change it. How can the court say change that? That would absolutely, without question, get contested if Donald Trump
says, "Yo, when I voted, they made me
right?
re-sign the thingy 5 times."
Really? That's funny. But Donald Trump is all up on the coronavirus fake news. The fake news media is writing COVID all the way to the election. Losers. He just doesn't get it, man. Am I wrong? Am I wrong that if you want to win the election, you need to just pretend like the coronavirus is a bad thing? If I was talking to him, I would say,
Uzi
listen.
Knesset says I couldn't replicate the signature on my ID that I did 22 years ago with a pen on a tablet with a Q-tip soaked in disinfectant perfectly enough for the poll worker.
There you go. If I was talking to him, I would say, listen, if you want to get elected, you have to pretend like the coronavirus is a really scary thing. You can use this to your advantage. Scared voters are very easily manipulated, and Joe Biden has made a lot of bad decisions when it comes to pandemics, and you can
Let's
make
not
the
make this
argument that
personal,
they're not
says it's
safe
not
with him
just
in
that,
charge.
it's stuff like this.
You can make the argument that in a pandemic, Joe Biden will be an ineffective leader because he was wrong at like every stage of this, right? Meanwhile, Joe Biden is like not going to campaign for the next 8 days, which is just like, wow, crazy, right? Okay, Kudlow on television saying stimulus talks have slowed but have not ended, and that more compromises would be needed. And also, the market's not like directly reacting to that for some reason. I guess they're getting wise to the headline game, or they're just kind of waiting on him. We might see a little spike here of some sort. He's on CNBC apparently. So they are able to clear 18.5. They've even held a little bit of a bid there for moments, but it'll take a bit to be able to hit into 19, right? Okay, well, the 5-year actually ticked up.
Philly
there
beats
for a
you,
second.
says Morning Seth.
Hey, Philly, how's it going, guys? It's kind of fun seeing everybody slowly stream in on Monday. Stumbled in from the weekend. What were you guys doing? Oh man, I feel like a little beat up because I shouldn't because I rested a lot, but I was out there and we getting like a windstorm and snow and everything. It got so cold so quickly, but I was like, I was not prepared. I didn't know that it was going to get cold. I didn't like completely prepare all the animals out there, so I was doing all this stuff, making sure the chickens had some fresh bedding and stuff. And then I come in out of the snow and it's like tears streaming down my eyes because like the wind blowing into my face and stuff. It was bad. U.S. economy still requires targeted relief, says Kudlow. Hmm. Well, they seem to be moving in tandem. I'm going to try and get out of this in the treasury if I can. Because it just 18.5 just doesn't look like the right price. They were almost ready to tick up there at 17 in the E-mini, and then it got kicked back down. So they're like that. There you go. Now it's gone bid at 17. And 18 goes offer in the treasury. It's like it knows. Why else would it be so hesitant there at 17 3/4?
Let's not make this personal. Says when I was living in Toul I saw the biggest lightning storm of my life over the lake. The bolts were so close together you could see at night.
Oh yeah, I've been, in the Midwest, and it's like that all the time. When they get lightning storms out there, man. I remember one time riding
Let's not make
back.
this personal. Says lake effect nuts.
I remember riding back on my bike one time, and yeah, didn't need light or anything because you could see the road from the lightning. It was crazy. I remember that with that one storm in particular. It was like we were going to see somebody, and um, I can see a dark cloud like on the horizon, and then by the time we're done driving down the road, it's on top of us. It just moves so fast. And then just as soon as we get out of the car, it starts raining. So we're like, oh, it's okay. We can run over there before we, get wet or whatever. And I might as well have jumped into a pool. I was completely drenched. It just comes on so fast out there. Oh, it's going to be interesting. So here's the thing. Like, I don't know about everywhere else in the United States, but here in Utah, it got cold really quickly. Really quickly. I mean, it's already below freezing in areas. And yeah. It and so I'm starting to think, okay, does this tell us anything about how winter's going to be? Know what I mean? Let's close this.
Philly beats you. Says Revenly I made more money trading cattle lol. Ace Trades says no, it will be a normal winter, it's just cold right now.
How do you know that? Like, we need to go and look. There's things that can tell us these things. That on average, because of X, that it tends to be Y and this and that. Here's the thing. I can't ever
Philly
remember.
Beats you says gotta get that meat for the winter.
I don't ever remember there being snow out there on election day. Do you ever remember there being an election and there's snow out there? Maybe the year that I wasn't in Utah when it was George Bush's second election. But I don't ever recall it being like snowy on election day. What would happen? Well, I looked at the 7-day forfeit. Let's go look at that. I
Sean
think that
Doyle
it was
says
going
Farmer's
to be
Almanac.
cold, but yeah, I think it was going to be cold, but that it wasn't going to be like snowy or anything. There's the 7-day.
Ace
Yeah,
Trades
it's
says
looking
you
like
don't
it's
remember
getting
trick or
warmer
treating
into
in
next
snow.
week. Well, I remember trick or treating in snow, but not voting in snow. Usually the first snow is just before Halloween. So this year it's about right on. I think that we got more snow than we normally get on that first snow, and it's definitely got colder than it normally gets on that first snow, but usually the first snow is around Halloween, yeah.
Ace Trades says yes, it's about right on. Let's not make this personal says when I was a kid I was mad if there wasn't snow on Halloween but I grew up in Jackson
Oh,
Hole.
really?
Eric McDermott says why did nat gas pop from $2-ish to
I don't
over
know.
$3? Thoughts? Contracts maybe or drawdown, ever trade it. They call it the Widowmaker. Boo, Halloween spooky nat gas.
Oh, I was reading of oh man, I wish I had written down what the study was. Where did I get it from? Oh man. There was this study where they were studying oh yes, it was a study called um it, I don't know if it was calculating, but basically they were trying to identify informed traders. And they had these metrics that they were using to determine whether a trader was informed or not. And that was saying that, and it was over futures. And they were saying that natural gas, the informed traders made more over the uninformed traders than any other instrument. It was natural gas. I thought that was interesting. So does that mean, now I don't know, because their definition of informed was maybe a little bit different from mine, but I just thought it was really interesting. I was doing all this research to try and figure out. I really want to get into the next thing. I'm going to read this book because I have market microstructure book. Because what I want to know is what are some things, or it's not even necessarily that I don't know them, but maybe I just haven't developed a sufficient enough framework to judge what I'm looking at, I want to determine what is the probability that I'm trading against an informed trader, like this right here. Well, maybe it's a little bit different now. So let's do it in the treasury. So right now the treasury is down like 2 ticks. So and I hit into these guys at 18.5 and I didn't really get a whole lot. So what is the chance that the people that were offering out at 18.5 were quote unquote informed traders? How do I try and judge that out? Because it seems to me that a high frequency trading algorithm, that its primary edge is determining, or one of its primary edges is determining whether it's trading against an informed trader or not, and knowing when it is and bailing correctly. You know what I mean? That better not have given me -3. It did. All right, well, it's okay. Look at them go. Let's cancel this one. Since if this continues through, there's a lot of upside in the E-mini available. Well, I don't know if anything specific triggered that so much as it is just that they are on the overnight session pretty net short. So I think I read that
Vlad
correctly
Stolyarov
overall.
says Tastyworks said expect 1.5x more volatility.
Over the next
Vlad
week?
Stolyarov says yesterday.
I don't know. Well, you'll see my video about the election in 15 minutes. We got it coming out here, but I really think that the contested election scenario is not as likely as the market thinks it is. It's a huge risk if it happens.
Vlad Stolyarov says over this week.
But I don't think that it's as big of a risk as the market thinks it is. And so I think that you might see the markets rally as that comes out, just because the volatility decreasing. They are very much trading with the equity correlation right now. It must mean though that like I mean, I hesitate to say it because it's just been like this every day, and you kind of have to start to wonder at this point. But I wonder if the primary driver of the action is once again whether or not we get a stimulus deal soon. I am starting to wonder if it's too late. What do you think? If they got a stimulus, let's say they made a deal this week, but maybe they don't actually sign it until after the election. Okay, would it be too late? Would it be too late? What do you think? The news squawk guy just said analysts. Analysts. Latest stimulus scenarios here. Biden win plus Democrats. Congress means 2 to 2.5 trillion in stimulus, including additional funds for COVID health response passed right after inauguration. Biden win plus a divided Congress, 1 trillion in stimulus passed after inauguration, but with some delay, there's also some chance of continued gridlock in this scenario. Trump win plus divided Congress, 1.5 to 2 trillion in stimulus passed in lame duck because neither side gains an advantage by waiting for a new government to form. I'm not sure that is correct. I think that if you get a Biden win plus a Democrat Congress, that you will either get the 2 to 2.5 trillion in stimulus, or they will wait until January and they'll give 4 or 6 maybe at that point. At that point, it might be 6. It might be 6. Sounds crazy, but like, what if there's a second wave and they do shutdowns again, right? Like, they'll have to do even more stimulus, right? At that point, it kind of turns into, well, like, we sure blew our load before it was time, didn't we? Which is the thing that just perpetually triggers me. It's like I'm hearing that the ICUs in Utah are filling up.
Vlad Stolyarov says wait to distribute 2021 once everything's super bad maybe.
They're not at 100% hospital capacity, but because of personnel restrictions, like 80% hospital capacity is like 100% hospital capacity. And I'm sitting here like, well, we should have. It would have been better if we were having people coming in all through the summer. In fact, frankly, it would have been better to have had the big wave in the summer, because then you could like maybe treat people outside or something. Like, I don't know, be easier. Now it's going to be winter. If it's going to be a bitter cold winter, this is going to cause so many problems. And I'm just going to be like, I told you so. Here you go. Carl Quintilla retweeting the governor of Utah. Our hospitals are being overwhelmed and the stress they're experiencing is unsustainable. This is why we have required masks in high and moderate transmission areas and also asked residents in these areas to limit gatherings to 10 or fewer. All right. So they're adding restrictions, but not necessarily restrictions that should impact businesses directly. Though we might get to a point where it's going to impact businesses no matter what. I'm a little unhappy, I guess, about how easy it is for the tenure to tick right now. So apparently the DAX is moving down. I think that they're saying that it's going to be worse in the EU than in the United States. It seems like the market, some people in the market are maybe making that bet a little bit. Ocasio-Cortez isn't concerned Joe Biden's opposition to a nationwide ban on fracking will hurt young voter turnout. His opposition to it, would it hurt? No, probably not. What happened in the debate, though, it does kind of seem like well, I don't know for sure, but the public generally seems to believe that it will hurt Biden in Pennsylvania. Okay, so they are moderating a little bit here in the 17 area in the Treasury. Senate Dem leaders defense. Not only would your presence in the Senate chamber tomorrow be a violation of the CDC guidelines, but it would be a violation of common decency and courtesy. So they're saying if the vote is too close, that they don't want Pence to be able to do the tiebreaker. I don't think that that's going to stop them. Now, will this site give me the virus? Twitter? This guy. Financial Juice tweeting JP Morgan analysts see an orderly election victory for Trump as the most favorable outcome for equities. It's true. No question about it. Clear win for Trump on the election night would be great for equities. Hmm. Hmm. So some hitting into 17.5. It looks like there's an iceberg there, though. I'm seeing a little bit of spreading here. You can see that it's steepener only by like a tick, but So I'm seeing more buying over here in these shorter term treasuries than I am in the ZB. ZB is pretty much all down. But here in the 10-year, you can see that it's actually been up even as we came back. Oh, no, wait, that's the E-mini. Over here on this chart, you can kind of see that, well, they came back, but now it's pushing up again. ICYMI odds of a blue wave tumble. Yeah. So the whole thing here is you're going to see is that this scenario where the Senate doesn't flip appears more likely now. Now here's an interesting one. Yeah, Zero Hedger is pointing this out, and they're doing it again. So I'm just going to show you guys here really quickly. If you look at the price for, oh, okay, so here's will Democrats win the House. That's come down a lot. I think that that's actually unlikely right now. Will Joe Biden drop out? Oh, looks like Biden is still up quite a bit, 63. Dun, 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 dun. Actually, for somebody, a build on Trump. 2 points at least. It looks like there's some longs taking profits on this move up in the E-mini. At least that's what the model thinks is happening. Actually, it's not entirely sure.
Rob Farley says some bug earnings coming out THS week.
There's a lot of earnings coming out this week, yeah. 8 days until the election, and Biden doesn't even know who's running against. There's been, so they're talking about Joe Biden said that he was running against Bush. And, so there's all the accusations that he's senile and everything coming out again. And the campaign has put a lid, like he's not apparently not going to campaign for the rest of the campaign, which is like kind of scary. I just can't believe that you're a week before the election and you're just going to shutter your candidate in the basement is like just crazy. Is that what his whole presidency is going to be like? Is they're just going to shut Biden in the White House and you're not going to hear from him at all?
Ace Trades says might be better to stay quiet, then he can't say something stupid.
Well, that's must be what they're thinking.
It's because they just need shit to play out. He doesn't need to campaign.
Yeah, their whole
Raju says best dom. Ace Trades says 2 minutes to open.
Oh, the the Jigsaw DOM is the best full-featured DOM in my opinion. I have a video. What is the best futures trading software platform? If you go to my channel, you should be able to see it.
Day Trading Annealing says gold call und put, sind hut eine gut anlage gewessen, habe selb schon 20 euros. Gewinn gemacht. Eric McDermott says if you watch the weather out of Canada, Alaska, Russia, towards the States may be a big key to gas spiking, along with drawdowns rig counts storage drawdowns, Trump rallies with Halloween costumes.
Oh, but oil is down overall today. So it appears to me from what I've been reading, and I don't really follow oil all that much. It's like it's always in the reports that I'm reading, and I try to remember it, but because I don't care so much about it, it's kind of hard for me to remember. but it sounds like that there is more supply coming online than anticipated. And so they've been moving down overall in oil, at least over the weekend and Friday because of supply. Do you use Bookmap? I don't. Yeah. So if you go and find that video on my channel, what is the best futures trading software platform, I explain why I use Jigsaw and NinjaTrader 8. Bookmap is an interesting software. It has a lot of fun toys in there, but I am not convinced that the way that they show things is any significantly more effective than watching the DOM. And they do have that market by order stuff, which I would really like to get my hands on and incorporate into some of my models, but it costs a lot to use it. So like they're charging you like $50 to use it. Okay, so the open is just shy of 34.22 and a little bit of a cautious open at first, but the buyers are winning. And you're seeing some treasuries selling as that occurs as well. If this is going to turn into a risk-on day, there's quite a bit of upside potential here on this, because I can see us going at least to 34.40 or so. Yeah, that's pretty far away. S&P down to flat gamma QQQ in short gamma land. Yeah, until everybody today buys calls, and then they're all loaded up again. You know what I find so interesting about the analysis, like JP Morgan analysis in particular about the election, is that they seem to be suggesting that no matter how the election comes out, that it's a buy, as long as there's not a contested election, which I think, at least on the initial knee-jerk reaction, is probably true. But it's like, if everybody thinks that it's a long, then, and they're already pricing it in, then can it really happen on election night? Then it kind of turns into a buy the rumor, sell the news sort of a thing, right? Comes out, Joe Biden wins, market rallies initially, and then gives up the gains on New Year's Day or something. Well, sorry, day after the election or something like that. Almost the opposite head fake that happened when Donald Trump won. Pence and wife Karen Pence have tested negative for COVID-19, which means that he will be campaigning today, and they will probably be doing the vote. Well, I don't know if they even need him for the Supreme Court vote, actually. So, well, this initial opening drive turning into a pretty significant candle so far. So let me go and find my video. New video.
Eric McDermott says if Trump even coughs, the MKT is crashing. If Biden wins, go all in short X3 XCEPT for green crap. Companies will flee again from US. He'll tax them on their way out. $.
I'll start it over here. Okay. So here is this week's video. I'm trying to do a video every Monday, so here's this week's Monday. I think next Monday we want to do something
Speculator
that's
Seth
more
Day
fun.
Trading says.
I think we want to do something that's more fun, but we'll see. So there's that video. My view on...
OnePlus says, will the market crash if Trump loses?
Yep, that's the question. That's what the video is. So You can give that a watch now, or you can wait until after the stream and watch it. The more views it gets, like on the first little bit, the better it is for the channel. But I think we can do okay. I've been doing pretty good with just getting search results, so I'm interested to see how this one does just from subscribers and search results. Okay. Please explain your trading tools. Okay, so what you're seeing up here up at the top are my depth of markets. This blue column are limit buy orders. This reddish orange red column is limit sell orders, and then the inside two columns are the market orders, right? So we're seeing here, the market orders hitting into the market and pushing price up and down, essentially, right? So I've got, and you can see the instrument up at the top. So we've got the E-mini and the micro E-mini, and then the 30-year, 10-year, 5-year treasuries, right? This right here is just a tape for the E-mini to show me relatively large orders hitting the tape. These right here are similar, but they're showing me large limit orders hitting. So I haven't really seen a whole lot of really big orders in the treasury so far today, but there was one around 19. Was one around 19 where they kind of added and pulled. And then down here is just a chart, but this is a one range chart. So I see every price change in the E-mini, which is kind of nice because I want to see like, if you got to fill what was the toxicity of that fill, essentially, like how much did it go against you and stuff, where are the ranges. And these two histograms are some indicators that I wrote that are showing me the balance between limit buy and limit sell orders, essentially. They pushed up Apple, that was the largest up. And Amazon pushed over Friday's highs, huh? Well, they still haven't formed like a pivot high on the 1 minute chart, and they're just pushing forward. So here they're going for the 27. Oh, and then this right here is the Vista chart, which here again, this is the background is the limit orders. Same thing that you're seeing on the DOM. And then this is cumulative delta market sells market buys minus market sells. And then another way of looking at the market depth. This one kind of looking more for absorption. So, but the main thing that we're looking at is just up here and Twitter. So I got over here, I've got TweetDeck up, Twitter, and I got a new squawk going that I can hear, and yeah. Need to resize that back over. Zero hedge. This is the anniversary of when Hillary Clinton tweeted, happy birthday to this future president. Yeah, crazy up moves. I am seeing that the NASDAQ is showing some significant strength coming in here. Some significant strength. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a really strong up move so far. You even seeing a few large orders participating in it. We should take a look at the options activity and see if Gamma is adding on here. JP Morgan down almost 2%? Really? Is that just them or is it all the banks? What does ICYMI mean? It's for when posting something not new. In case you missed it, I see. Politics aside, which person acts more presidential in your opinion? Senator Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? I don't think that Kamala Harris acts presidential. No, yeah. That's interesting. That's an interesting comparison. Okay, well, NQ is just crazy strong here. The E-mini still kind of looking, like it may have pivoted. Okay, so after that really strong initial drive, they are testing the open again. Actually, that's going to confirm a pivot high, isn't it? The NASDAQ doesn't look anywhere close to reversing, but we'll see. Ooh, ouch. Pretty bearish excursion there. Well, they came back across the open, but it's not even close in cumulative delta and volume. So let's see what happens. That's a pretty toxic move there. NASDAQ panic bid at cash open after ugly overnight session, but the E-mini not completely buying it. So did the NASDAQ completely come back there? Yeah, the NASDAQ is still doing okay. $34.1475. Well, I'm just gonna hold to my stops and everything. The Treasury ticking back up there though. Quite handily, I might add. Okay, I am seeing oil still moving a bit. Not really seeing huge movement in the other ones. Japanese yen maybe coming up a little bit. Zero Hedge says WTF NASDAQ panic bid at cash open after ugly overnight session. Okay, so they're gonna come back across the open again. If that's all the short that there was, if they go up and they break a new high, then that could make today a very bullish day. Treasury not the best trade today in the end. This may be a volatile day. Pelosi said yesterday she was positive of a stimulus day today again. Yeah, well, everybody's been saying that they're positive of a stimulus bill. That's why I find this bearishness over that there won't be a stimulus bill really confusing, because I haven't seen a single comment or piece of evidence suggestive of a stimulus deal not about to happen, other than perhaps that it hasn't happened yet. I guess the market is just getting sick of it. I kind of wonder if the market just got ahead of itself in some points. I don't know. But Toasty, hey, how's it going? Welcome back. Okay, well, they tested the open again, and they're shying away from it. I'm not seeing the negative volume come in yet, but it's kind of there. Short or go home. You think so, huh? I really liked that open. And frankly, the action before the open. I'm not. I don't know. I mean, this has happened to me a couple of times in the past week, hasn't it? Where I was long and it looked really good, and then it just kind of slowly gave it up and then eventually turned into a really ugly downside. So I don't know. This one's a little bit different though, because before it would be like I would see the volume coming in trying to push it up and they could just never get it. This time I'm seeing the volume coming in short and they're just never quite getting it, you know? It's like you can definitely see some guys went short, but it's not even it's maybe like a third to a fourth of the buy volume that came in on the open. That's why I was saying if they came back across the open and pushed the high again, then that could turn today into a really bullish risk on day. Yeah, it's got a little bit of fight in her. Shell preparing to evacuate non-essential workers from offshore Gulf of Mexico platforms. You think 11,670 in NQ? Well, NQ is rising up. Like they're at the moment kind of gunning for that regular session high already. So will it be the case that they go and they touch the overnight high first and drag the S&P 500 with them? You liked the video on the election? Thank you. You know what was interesting about that video was, so like the video before that, it took me so long to record and I had such a hard time recording it, and it was a really difficult video to make. I guess that's a little hard because you're talking about mistakes and you want to be really careful about what you're saying. But then when it was the politics one, it was like almost all completely one take. Like I just ripped through it. I'm clearly more comfortable talking about the politics than I am the trading. Okay, NASDAQ still kind of fighting it here. Well, when you look at it on the 1 minute chart, especially in the NQ, the up move looks really significant, right? But when you look at it on the 5 minute chart, it kind of doesn't. It looks like they're just not really doing much of anything yet. Kazakhstan reversing itself and embraces Borat as very nice. Really? What? Yes. Top officials of the Communist Party of China have kicked off a key policy meeting that will set the trajectory for the development in the next 5 years. Read here for what to expect. Can you imagine the United States Congress having a meeting for a week, 2 weeks, however long it is, and that meeting is supposed to determine the trajectory of the U.S. economy for the next 5 years? Doesn't that just sound absolutely insane? Why I'm not liking this? Well, yeah, it looks like that the NASDAQ is really pushing, and the S&P 500 and the Dow are lagging significantly. Should be careful, though, because when I'm reading the cumulative delta in the ES, it is not a sell yet. It's kind of on the edge that it could turn into a sell, but it hasn't really come yet. Okay, so there's some big orders they've taken out there. You can take out this one at 34.24 and a quarter. Not yet. Oh, okay, there we go. And then there's another one at 25 and a quarter. Well, they easily hit that one and stacked at 25. Now there's one at 28, which has always been there, by the way. No, it hasn't always been there. It just arrived. It just showed up. NQ new high. Treasuries, by the way, not really selling. They're still keeping 17.5 bid. So either they're not buying the rally or they are more concerned with other stuff and the equity correlation isn't as strong as it was earlier. $105-point rally? Is it really? NQ is just... Whenever you guys are putting numbers in the NQ, my brain just turns off. I know that it's like 11, close to 12,000, but I don't know. I just don't think that the price level in the NQ is that important. Are you using order flow? Yes. So, keep in mind when I'm using order flow, I'm mostly looking to see where the liquidity is at and how much it takes to tick up or down, for instance. So like they're at 17.5 at 3,500. Iceberg keeping it bid, and then it goes bid again at 17.5 with 1,500 immediately stack on it. So for some reason, they're keeping them bid there at 17.5. Those are the sorts of things that I'm paying attention to. But I'm also very much trying to be an informed trader, which means that I'm watching the news. I got a news squawk going, and I'm watching the politics because the fundamentals is really ultimately what's going to decide what people do. So, like, when we look at technical analysis and people look for patterns, and I think that we often try and look at order flow as just another branch of technical analysis, and we try to do technical analysis on order flow. But it doesn't work like that. The order flow can kind of give you an edge for sure because, you know, putting your limit orders out and getting better positions is good. But it still doesn't predict or tell you which direction it's going to go if there's going to be a change. News can do that, though. Looks like everything is kind of slowed down in this area. So the E-mini just a little bit short of a new high. Oil moderating, dollar moderating, treasuries keeping a strong bid at 17.5. That bid at 17.5 may end up being important. Why 3420 is support? Who knows, dude? Is it really support? You never know. This is the issue with support. Like we say, like here's supply, support, and resistance, but like everybody determines those levels differently, and it can completely ignore them sometimes. Okay, so there's a big order at 27 they took out, and now we see if they take out the 28. Yeah, they're certainly reaching for it. I think they might have to come back a little bit first. Yeah. The candle day fib, well, if you use that and you have success with it, then good for you, but I don't give a fuck about that stuff, to be honest with you. I do not believe that past prices or anything that you can calculate off of past prices alone is predictive of where it's going to go in the future. I believe that I can calculate out where people's positions are and I can kind of guesstimate if we do get a move up where it's going to go to. But it doesn't predict if we're going to move up or down or if we're going to hold a spot or not hold a spot. And believe me, I've done a lot of research to try and prove otherwise, and I just can't. Really. So JP Morgan is calling 3,900 if Trump wins, and somebody already has 3,090 calls for January. Okay, so we do have new home sales here. We're look just in 30 seconds. We're looking for an estimate of 2.8 versus a previous reading of 4.8, and the new home sales in September overall of 1.2 0.025 million versus the previous reading of 1.011 million. That is not a sheep. Where were you reading that? You're reading that on my will the markets tank if Donald Trump loses video? Okay, here comes the news. Okay, so 0.959 million and new home sales month over month negative 3.5% versus an estimated 2.8%. So that is pretty bad numbers. They're not reacting. Well, I want out either way. I'm not sure why they're not reacting to it super strongly. Okay, fine. Okay. I'm just going to get out. Because of the news. They're not reacting to it strongly yet, but I'm a little concerned, so it's just kind of sideways there. Oh no, then now they're falling. So I'm not too sure how enthusiastic I am about the downside if we do it. Oh, Rob says from not giving a crap about the fibs and the like. Yeah, I don't know, man. Here's the thing. If you want to show me something that's technical, and this is I'm not going to hold people to it because I know not everybody is always watching and knows me and everything. But if you want me to care about a technical signal, you have to provide me some sort of historical track record that shows that thing matters. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen. They might go for a new high here. I think I'm going to walk away from it for a little bit and take a quick break, all right? I will be right back. Okay, so they did break a new high, it looks like. It wasn't, there was a little bit of absorption against it. It's not really like just taken off like it should. And the treasuries are not selling off still. Mm-hmm. So maybe they continue through, but I'm starting to become a little skeptical of this rally here. So that's really interesting because new home sales were actually doing really, really well. I mean, a lot of people moved. Um, I guess that has kind of come down, but I find it incredibly interesting that it's a negative number. It's negative 3.5. It's a lot. So that must mean that they pulled a lot of demand from October was pulled into August and September, which is not necessarily a good thing. We could still buy it. I mean, I was seeing 34.40, so they still have room to go up if I really feel confident that they're going to buy. But I think that we got a pretty good trade there with taking what was it? 32 ticks is really good. So Mitt Romney will be speaking on the Senate floor in support of Judge Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation to the Supreme Court. Okay, there is a pretty big order there at 34.29 and a quarter. Treasury's ticking up still. Hmm. I'm just letting people in Discord know what I'm thinking. Cool. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to just sell it, to be honest with you. I mean, that last one, well, yeah, let's do it. If we get filled. Don't chase Seth. Okay. All right, that's okay. NQ is kind of turning around too. Like they pivoted. We need to see them below 11,654. So I'm not too happy with my spot in the mess here. Hmm. Seventeen and a half is getting weaker. Hmm. Okay. So it's becoming quite flippy. Hearing a lot of clicks and it moving back and forth a lot. It's kind of like people jockeying for positions, right? You think it's eventually going to roll in the next hour, huh? Well, we're coming into the counter trend period here in a few minutes. You get that clicky click when they tick down there. 26. You see that? 319, 210. So they just pushed through a couple of big ones. Now somebody's pushing back at 25. There's this big order at 24.50. It's kind of just now appearing. Let's clear this. Did he disappear? So now I see 22. Well, now there's something at 23.75, but it's not as big. So something did change there. Okay. A little push there. The 22 pulled. Where is he? Where's the 22? Yep, that whole pull. Wow, a lot of bids pulled on that, actually. And there's some big ones that moved up. I see. Well, they're not hitting him at 26. Okay. Now they hit it. I think he pulled a little bit of it. Yeah, about 150 of it pulled. And there's still some down here, here. So this is starting to look like just a pullback absorption. Yeah. Well, that's interesting the way that's moving. Ooh, okay. Well, there's one got filled. They're now ready to push into this other guy. Well, now I don't really see. Well, I guess there's this increase down to 24.75, but it's kind of completely changed now. Okay. And they go right through it. Like, no problem. Okay. Okay. You be like that. You got stopped out? Makes sense. He went long at 27. I don't think that this is the best spot to be trying to take a momentum entry, because there appears to be some position jockeying here. So I think that we should expect to get jostled around quite a bit here still, unless the short really starts to come through below like 24. You see that? Okay, so now something showed up at 25 and a quarter again. Panic sell. We don't need a catalyst to move this market like lack of stimulus or earnings or a world event thoughts. Well, supposedly the stimulus is happening. And at the moment, though, I don't think I want to be involved in this. Like I was saying, I wish I had taken the plus $10 there when I realized that it was starting to get muddled. There's still a chance that a sell might come in, but at the moment, I don't think I have a whole lot to really tell me that we're going to break out of this one way or the other with any real solid probability. Nothing bearish in Apple yet. Well, NQ still looks pretty bullish there. Yeah, that's a real kind of bowl it's forming right now. The technical pattern looks really clear. Yeah, 17.5 goes off again. Oh, we got more numbers at the bottom of the hour. The Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. I was thinking about waiting until 27. I guess I'll just. Guess not. I was taking that spot on the liquidity holding and it didn't. Some volume there? Yeah, thousands trading at 25. And now it kind of is breaking. Oops, you know what? We need this. Okay. Hmm. Pretty flaky here. Well, this is turning into like a bad Monday for me, so I mean, like, we're okay up until now, but this just is starting to look like really difficult action. Chop crap till something happens. Yeah, it may just be. It does. I mean, I do think that this kind of action in this location is favorable to a short, but um, I don't know. The thing that's been difficult is that um, from a market making perspective, some of my trades were okay, but I just wasn't getting the spots at all. So. Hmm. Okay, but there's some. Oh, wait a second here. I'm hearing negative news about Boeing from the World Trade Organization. What was the open again? Oh, how come I don't have it anymore? Fine. 21.25. So we are pushing below the open now. Ooh, and based on positioning, it looks likely that they will break a new low. And it looks like we're soon going to be getting to the spot where that initial strong buy volume on the open has come out. Okay, this is really turning into a down move here. So that was a new low as expected. Well, I was able to make something of that in the end. It's not bad, was it? Okay, I am seeing some absorption in this area, so I'm going to take a contract off. Okay. Here comes the Dallas Fed number here. Ooh. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index number is late. Okay, so the number is 19.8. Guess Kudlow is talking at the moment. Made a comment. That's getting pretty negative. He's saying there's still some things in it that Trump cannot accept. Coronavirus still. So markets reacting negatively. Well, when we were having like these lows on Thursday, they were at 3,400 was kind of like the bottom of that. So that's probably a likely location for them to be heading towards. To say they have gone through the stops. My, oh my. Okay, so I want somewhere around here. Should see another little, let's see. Okay. Cool. Okay, I am out. Even though I think we might go to 3,400. Okay, so in the end, that worked out. Still got this on the Treasury, which I think could be a good trade. Let's see if they get squeezed here, because there has been some short volume coming into this, so they might get squeezed out. It broke, never looked back. Now volume came out, so maybe they stopped everyone out who went. Yeah, no, they definitely did. When I'm looking at my model, there is no way that there's any longs still with money. I mean that and that they broke a new low, right? Nobody that could have bought could be positive. They either took their profits or they just got stopped out, right? No survivors. Now, when they're through the stop out zone. Oh, see, now on that move, it just moved down again. So too many profit takers down in this area, or buy the dip guys. That's kind of, now it's suggesting that they could take another leg down if they wanted. So I'm not too sure. So let's just let it play out. We still got this thing in the treasury that we can take advantage of. Plenty of room on the treasury trade, by the way, too. Like, I could maybe even move it up to 21. And look, there's an iceberg at 18.5. So now we're getting the level break set up here. So depending on how this goes, I may move my order. Doesn't give me a very good spot in line. So I'm going to move this. What is Nate Silver going on about here? I wouldn't trust pulls from firms that don't have that have a poor track record, and that I wouldn't trust to act in good faith. What is he talking about? Okay, so you notice that they're eating into, but it's not like slipping. So it looks like that there is a level break in balance here at 19, but that if it goes through, that it's going to be slow, which is why I might want to move my order up. Because if they just pulled the 19 and flooded into 19 half 20, then I would want to be out. Eric says no stimulus. Well, it is what we're hearing from Kudlow is a big change from the administration's kind of strategy on Thursday. So this is funny that they were talking so positively on Thursday. On Friday, they were kind of getting a little more like, well, we're not just going to roll over. And now today, it's like the exact opposite. They're like, well, there's still all this stuff that we can't accept. I don't know. Like, I'm getting this thing that like the administration thinks that if they just wiggle it around long enough, that Pelosi is going to change. But why would she if she thinks she's going to win? And everything that we're getting, every piece of like actual data that we're getting says that they will, or at least that they will win the presidency. Why should she give in? Too much money for badly managed states. Yeah. Well, and there was stuff in there about immigration and stuff, apparently, is what Kudlow was complaining about now. I tell you, the immigration, if Joe Biden wins, the first thing I'm concerned about is the immigration. I mean, I know there's all this stuff we've been saying about taxes and everything, but the first thing that he's going to do that's going to be a problem for the country is going to be changing the immigration policies that Donald Trump put in place. Don't be surprised if Joe Biden wins, he implements his immigration policies, and then you see a huge backlash to that in the midterms. Okay. I'm kind of watching this in the e-mini and wondering, well, if I wanted to go short again, could I do it here? Maybe. Now these state polls showing Biden ahead in Georgia and Texas is I'm starting to get like hyper skeptical about. Like, okay, if Joe Biden wins Texas, then like there's a really big problem for Republicans in it. Trump has done the UAE deal, 3 Nobel Prize nominations, embassy Israel, recent UAE deal, can now fly over Sudan. Trading is on. Killing each other is not cool right now in these countries. You don't know, man. Okay, so look, another absorption at 18.5. I don't know. The way that Kudlow was talking on TV, or at least from what we heard from the headlines, I think that further downside would not be unreasonable. Wisconsin early ballot returns show polls are wrong. Republicans stormed the polls and are ahead in Wisconsin. What? That is really interesting. Let's see if I can get this guy. Okay. Oh, right. Because Wisconsin is doing the mail in, like where they mail everybody a ballot. And so that means that you're going to see more Republicans mail in their votes this time around because it's easier and more convenient for them. Whereas normally they don't bother going to the polls because they don't think that they're going to win. There's this whole thing that like the mail in balloting seems to favor the underdog. But in this case, it might be closer than anybody realizes, anyways. Mail in and early in person ballots returned 36% versus 42%. Okay. Well, this is a piece of information that I do think leads considerable credibility to the thought or the theory rather that the polls are wrong. Do you think China, Russia, Romania, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Costa Rica policy will change? Well, there's no way that Biden is winning Texas. He'll get a congressional blue wave for sure, but there's no way odds are against him. No, I don't think so. Well, no, but that's the other thing is that I'm not so sure that the congressional blue wave is happening. It looks like that in all of the closely contested Senate races, that the only one that they might get is maybe McSally in Arizona. So the chances of the Democrats overtaking the Senate has decreased significantly. I think that it's still in their favor, but I don't know. It's close. The thing that we got to realize at this point, this is so much fun for me, is that late race momentum matters a lot. There have been so many times this has happened. The way I learned this was with Mitt Romney. When Mitt Romney lost to Obama, and what happened? Obama got the late momentum. It counts for a lot, and the polling can't see that yet until like the day before the election, if then. So it looks like that things are in the Republicans' favor at the moment. And now we're finding these things that suggest that that the pollsters rating of the party affiliation is off significantly. Okay, well, they still haven't taken the 19 in the treasury. My baby son is banging on the door and smiling at me. Hi. Hi. You stay over there and play in that room, okay? Yeah. No, I'm streaming. I can't watch you, okay? Okay. Have fun. Dems want to. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that. Dems want to convert Washington D.C. to a state in Puerto Rico, right? Like, I got to tell you, if the Dems took over the Senate and they really went all forward with the nuking the filibuster thing, that could be so negative. Oh, I see. They're still absorbing a lot at 18. ECB bought net 722 million of assets and covered bond purchase program 3 weeks to October 23rd versus sales of 81 million a week earlier. And there's a new low in the E-mini, the Treasury not ticking up yet. Going to get the pressure. Coal industry would do better under the second Trump term than Biden administration, Alliance Resource CEO says. And the comment on that is water is wet and the sky is blue, right? If Trump keeps winning, the Dems will turn hard populist and stop caring about being nice. Well, I think that if Donald Trump destroys them, like, so let me back up. If in the unlikely but possible, and perhaps the polls are all wrong and all of this sort of thing scenario, and Donald Trump convincingly wins on election day, then I think that the Democrats will do a complete about face. There's going to be a real battle over there because the thing is, one side is going to say, if you had put Bernie in, then we would win. But the other side is going to say, no. Like, what we did turned Republicans out in crazy numbers and turned voters out in crazy numbers. And what we're doing is not working and we need to flip around. Like, we've taken it too far. And I think that the moderate side of the party might have some reason to push towards, push back on the radical progressive side of the party, especially like the Black Lives Matters, I'm a trained Marxist kind of people, right? Okay, so this is a pretty good down move that we got there in the E-mini. It's wiggling around quite a bit. Kind of feeling a little left out, but 33.94.75 now is the more room that they've gained. So I don't think if I had left, I don't think that I would have left that one on the whole time. If I hadn't have taken the first contract off at the first and I had let it go all the way down to the bottom, and then, I was just holding one at that, then I think I would have been more willing to hold on to it. But okay, so 19. does go bid. It took 7,000 contracts to do it, but they do go bid. Okay, so Mnuchin and Pelosi are speaking at 2 p.m. U.S. stocks extend fall. Dow Jones down 2%. Is 2% really? Is that how much it is? Well, now, how much is it in the NQ? So NQ isn't below overnight lows yet. Ugh. Ew, that's actually a little scary, isn't it? So what happens if the NQ turns negative and goes below overnight lows? Don't want to think about that, do you? That Friday late day rally was, you know what? So I would be really skeptical about any late day movements, to be honest. Here's the thing. The smart traders, the best traders, the informed traders make their biggest moves as early as they can. They make their move, they make their money, and they go home. It really is true. And these guys that are like trading into the close, what are they doing? Well, I think that a lot of it these days is trying to manage their positions for options expiration because they want their options to expire in a favorable spot. So, yeah, do they do things like they did on Friday where they'll pump the index back up so that their options expire in a good spot or something like that, or at least so that they don't owe money because they're like selling naked calls or something? Sorry, selling naked puts. Like, yeah, that totally happens. And so, yeah, when you get these things like the, close at the end of the day, or another one is like the overnight move. It's like a stock gaps down, and there's no reason for it to gap down. Then you kind of got to wonder, well, why did the market maker decide to price it down? And sometimes it's complete nonsense, There's just a lot of things. Another thing is so this one, a lot of people have been talking about opening ranges. I don't know what it is. I think that the trading world is really a lot smaller than we think, because you get like one person talking about opening ranges in Facebook, and then a bunch of other people are not, and all of a sudden everybody's talking about opening ranges. This is a perfect example of where an opening range can be really painful, because they went up, so you would see the break of the opening range and buy it, and then it went down. So then you would sell it, and then it went back up and it looked like it was positive, and then it turned down again, and then finally it broke from the opening range and that actually ran, and you would actually catch a trade. So if you took it every time and you knew how to let it ride, then you could potentially make some money. But how would you be able to see the turns and know where to get out and let it ride and so on and so forth? The math doesn't work out. The math, in my opinion, just doesn't work out, especially if you your stop is like the other side of the opening range, which is what a lot of these guys do, right? So you're going to lose more. You're probably just coming out break even, maybe, if you let this one ride, right? And where does he take the profit on it? Like, would he allow it to come back to the opening range again and then stop out? You know what I mean? It's a perfect example of where it happens. But when we're watching the order flow, we could kind of tell, couldn't we? Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I had this buy at 27 that I held through and I really shouldn't have held through. Well, that was only 8 ticks against me, so that's actually acceptable. I never took an unacceptable risk here. So, yeah. But we could kind of tell, couldn't we, that, hey, maybe this, I was saying I'm getting skeptical about it. It seems like it's not coming through. Looks like they're trying to sell it, but they're not getting it yet. And if we broke down to the downside, and then when we did, it went. You probably could have, what I might have done, although I got in it earlier, but I might have just put a sell at the low of the day and waited for it to rush through, and that would have been another way to take advantage of it. And I might add that when it really decisively broke, we were getting news, right? So we knew we were informed in which way it was going, instead of trying to rely on this mechanical thing about what happens in the first 5-minute bar somehow as indicative of what is going to happen the rest of the session, which is just kind of ridiculous. I'm ranting. I can't help myself, guys. Especially technical was NQ. I don't know. I just the more I get into it, the more I'm just like I feel like that the majority of retail traders are trying to do something that doesn't make sense. Like being a market maker and taking advantage of liquidity and everything makes a lot of sense, for sure. But in order to do that, one of the things that you have to factor in is, who am I trading against? Why is this guy buying it from me? Why is he hitting into me with a market order? Does he know something that I don't? And the retail traders don't think that matters. Icebergs show them buying on them, taking out stops. Well, Eric, I think when I look at my model, then that move shows that there was some significant profit taking, and that yes, there was buying. So this is a good example here. Okay. So the question is, there's bubbles down in here. There's bubbles down in here. Okay. Why? Was it somebody buying or was it profit taking? Good question. What does our model say? Well, our model assumes that it's profit taking. That's where you get this right here, right? But what does it say about longs picking up? Well, it actually shows that if you were to assume that the longs were picking up, there was enough absorption going the other way that there wasn't actually a lot of positions added on. So this scenario doesn't make any sense. The one where it's buyers picking it up. It doesn't make any sense. It was sellers taking profits, and now we're getting a new move, right? Some of them absorbed the other way and went short again, and now you're getting a new move, and this move is likely to be, based on the fact that we're not really seeing some positions move dramatically, this is probably liquidity pulling and market orders coming into the market and people that were late and just trying to catch in with the momentum. You see how that works? It's like, it's an estimate and it can't be perfect. But when we look at all of the different scenarios, we can kind of see that some of the scenarios don't necessarily make sense. Okay, so 18.5 went offer on me, which isn't necessarily great. So I'm unhappy about that. Oops. Wrong button. NQ just swung 160 points. Well, that's interesting that the Treasury came down there. Weird. All three of them got smacked down 2 ticks. That might be. So I'm thinking that the buyer, I'm thinking that they've realized that they're just not getting enough people hitting into it at 19, half, and 20 for them to go where they need to go. So maybe they came in and did that so that they can get more people and move it up again. Because that seems really bizarre, given that the E-mini is still at lows and pushing even further. Now we're at 33.90. So a good 10, 20 points more we could have gotten out of that. And we got a good trade out of that, by the way. Oh, this is so heavy. It's so heavy. If and when Trump wins, this thing will come screaming back. I can't, I don't know. So that early voting information, I think tells us a lot. And I think it's possible that Donald Trump's going to win. Sure. But it certainly in for sure. You know? I'm kind of getting to the point again where I feel like that a rational person can't really know for sure what's true and what's not, you know? Oh, this is just getting creamed. Man, how far do you think it can go? So this is below Thursday now, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is just kills the chart, dude. Man. Wow. This is ugly. Where we need to pull up Trading View. Where's our VIX targets now? I'm surprised that the Treasury's not pushing back harder. Still some offer, huh? Okay, so they've got target 1 at 30.91. 33.60. Monday, bloody Monday. It's pretty bad. These things are always just, they mess with your head because you're thinking like, okay, how far can it really go, you know? There's no telling. If that would just flip up easily for me, I would be happy. Okay, well now that one is probably is some buying the dip action happening here. Because probably a lot of shorts already took profits. Unfortunately, in that particular situation, people buying the dip doesn't really tell us anything. Unless you're a really strong believer in the just buy the dip, But it could go down and all of those longs just bail again. And then, that's what happens on a trend day. Is those guys they do buy it and they do try and hold it, and it just keeps going against them and stopping them out over and over again. Week of consolidation, and then we're headed lower. Well, let's see here. They were counting on the stimulus. Nice short. We weren't going to get with Halloween Nancy and the Dems. They're playing a crazy game. They shall hopefully lose big, the Dems, for the sake of the country. Oh my gosh. If Donald Trump comes out and wins and the Republicans hold on to the Senate, that will just be like the most amazing thing ever. It'll be the moment in American politics you'll always remember. The political moment of a century if Donald Trump wins next Tuesday, man. Really would be. And the Democrats will look so terrible at that point because, they're going to have to renege on everything and accept a lower deal, and Donald Trump will go extra hard to humiliate them. Okay, so the Treasury come back up here. So I think I read that move down correctly, which now I need to get my target first. But I'm wondering, because in the past that would have been something that would have really freaked me out and concerned me. And now I'm able to read the positioning and everything and kind of make a judgment that no, they just need to come back down here and tag it because they don't have enough to go higher. The E-mini is not stopping, man. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, I said this in Discord, but for you guys here on stream, if you're short, if I was, I don't want to. I'm not giving you advice here. I'm just saying what I would do. I'm already out, but if I was still short, I would need to be thinking right now about managing my stop, because they still want to do a deal. Supposedly, they still want to do a deal. So I think that means that there is considerable risk right now, headline risk right now if you're short. There's considerable headline risk if you're short because everybody's short right now. And if Donald Trump came out and tweeted the Democrats, they're so stupid and they want all of these bad things, but I'm really gracious and I still want to get a deal done and I want more stimulus than them and we're going to get a deal done one way or another. He makes some the most bullish tweet that you could right now, and I think that this is exactly where Donald Trump would do something like that, tweet about it to try and push things his way to get a deal. So significant headline risk. So we want to manage the take profit stop, right? That's what I'm thinking. Which, similarly, we should. Here I am dispensing advice, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, but I am in a position in the Treasury. No, I'm feeling pretty good about this coming up into me. But we'll see. This is going to take a bit of volume. I mean, they've been trading 7,000s in here. So that's some spots. So let's hear Eric. If Republicans win the House and the Senate, well, if they flip the House, then it will really be like, what? I will watch your video later with the suds to go with it. Thanks for making it your little mini U counts on this. Hey, thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate it. I have I'm excited for that video. I don't know. Maybe just because I enjoyed making it. I'm doing a couple of things in it that are a little different. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. So one thing was that I used the blackboard and wrote stuff on the blackboard. I need to write stuff on it a little bit differently, and I need a different blackboard. And then I had lights to try and make behind the blackboard blue, but that didn't really work correctly. So I need to adjust all of that. But I did like doing it that way because we want to make videos about order flow with the blackboard so that I can kind of just write things up and show you guys, okay, here's what I'm looking at. This is what, there's a situation and here's a situation that we pay attention to. Should be really good stuff. Because people have been asking for that kind of content, so we're gonna make it. So a big iceberg here in the E-mini, kind of suggesting that maybe somebody is absorbing for a short here. Lots of longs on in this area. The treasury is just kind of up there and trying to put pressure on the guys at 19.5, but it looks like the guys at 19.5 do want fills. Right, this is just a perfect example of where it's like, okay, if they trade through 19.5, is it going to be less or more than 5,600? Well, normally it will be just a little bit less. Normally it would be just a little bit less. Like if they traded anywhere more than 4,000 contracts, then that's normal, right? If it's significantly less than that, like 2,000 or 3,000 contracts, then it's like somebody canceled their order or moved it, right? I'm gonna want to look and see where did it move? Where did it move to? Right? If it's significantly more, then there's an iceberg there. Kind of makes it hard for me to read what's going to happen, but that makes it harder for it to tick up, right? I don't know. I don't know how useful this all is, but I'm just thinking about it because people have been asking about it. I feel like all of a sudden I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, I did well, and I think I'm yapping because I did well. Let's see here. You work so hard. Congrats, your best constructive criticism. Stay cool. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to make a video every week now. So, because I feel like, the channel's doing well, and this is a time period where we should be trying to push it. So, can make a video every week. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week, though. I want to have more of a fun video, so I don't know. I wanted to make a video with the rabbit, but now that it's cold outside, I'm not sure. So, okay, so 4,700. But they took it all at once. That tells you something big, right? And it ticked up. All three they ticked up at the same time, and really solid bids. Now you got the 65 at 20. Let's see what happens there. I think that one might pull a bit. Well, 800 hit it, and they didn't pull. They're kind of doing the little throttling thing a bit. Hello, dear. They're busting out. Oh, you mean the hatch on the box? Okay, bye.
There you go.
You watch. You see, that was a 6,000. Oh no, wait. They ticked through. It was 6,000, and a little bit is pulled, but that was like average pull, right? 4,000 still to trade through it. Yeah.
Are you here? They can't see you. Stand up. There you are. You're on the internet. Hello, internet. We can get filled right there. Don't touch the microphone, though, okay? Because it'll fall over. Ah, very good. Very good. I'm happy now. Caught my trade. Everything's pretty good. I'm still unhappy about how well I really wish I'd taken more on this short, of course, because we got out at like 34.10. But cute baby. Oh, thank you very much. I love you. Say to them, but I don't even know you. At the lows again? At the lows again? Again? You are soft and fuzzy, buddy. Oh wow. So I took it off at 21. No. Yeah, I took it off at 21 and look at how they busted through there. Wow. Well, I had a good read on a price that they could go through, but that was a real stop out. That was a real stop out. Wow, somebody puked hard there. My oh my. My, wow. Someone puked hard there. Probably somebody thinking that it was a short today. Oh, we're going to get stimulus. We need to short the things. But it went through. Yep, it's a microphone. But the microphone is for talking into. What happened to your nose? Scratch yourself. You need to stop scratching yourself in your sleep bed. Oh, I hear mom. I hear mom. Channel down. The worst is over for the oil market recovery, says some guy. Saudi oil minister. Did you just put them back in, or did you just throw them into the pan?
I just opened the big run, walked in there with the bag of bread, and they followed me already.
Oh, okay.
I think we should put a second latch.
Yeah, so it was the egg box fell down again. How does that happen?
I wonder if they just peck it just right so that it slowly.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Wait, we should that particular door, like, we never use it. We could just I pulled the little door on the side.
Oh, I always open the flap.
Oh. Okay.
Just add the second latch.
Delta adds hundreds of passengers to no-fly list over mask policy violations. So you hear that. If you get on an airplane and you decide that you're not going to wear your mask, they will not let you fly again. Just so you know. So they're going to come back to that 21. Yeah. So we were looking at 33.60 on the downside.
What should we say about today? We need to come up with a good title. Well, we should put up with that Nancy didn't save us. That's what it should. That's what today's title should be. $33.75. Probably the plunge protection team comes through. Well, I can't see it because I don't have my footprint charts up lately, but when I'm looking on the E-mini, I will aggregate things by handle, so I'll combine the 4 prices. And if I see over 10,000 absorbed across one handle at a price, that at least in the pandemic time period has been pretty indicative of a buy the dip behavior that will recover. But I have seen that on at least one occasion break. I'm quite concerned about what we're seeing right now because I don't think that this is just about stimulus, right? Well, like we were down anyways. I don't think that the new comments that were made were necessarily that significant, although because of the way the market is and trade and everything, it can certainly move the markets that much. But markets were down overnight because of, I think in part because of coronavirus concerns overseas. And even though it looks like America is faring better and will fare better in a second wave, they're still going to get hit hard too. And even if we don't see more shutdowns, and I really hope that they don't do more shutdowns, I think that people are still going to be very wary about going out. So I think that we're going to see another lull in market activity. And this is where it starts to turn into like, can the economy actually handle a move like that, It gets scary. By the way, 3403 was the 50-day moving average. So we are now below the 50-day moving average again. They going to go to the 100-day moving average? Or are they going to go to the 200-day moving average at 3100? Well, that would make more sense to me. And they're coming up to some long-term resistance. Like there's just a lot of technicals here in favor of a significant downturn here. I suppose something that we could do. Want to game this out? And it'll be like really wild down here. That's my scenario. That's when I'm just looking at the technicals and the day-by-day action, that's what I see. So now let's game this out here a little bit more. What if Donald Trump wins? Yeah. I think it'd be something like that. Yeah. No, wait. Let's go back. We got to do it in blue. There you go. It'll be this huge. Yeah, that's if Donald Trump wins and the Republicans take over the House. I would be so happy if Republicans took over the House. I don't know if that's very likely, but. Every time that I feel like this market is just so interesting. And then it gets better every day. Just reading how much trillions of BlackRock Incorporated has. Oh, I know. Like, what if all of those bonds go out? And the Federal Reserve has to go in and buy bond ETFs again? Ugh. That's too scary, Vlad. Stop scaring the retail traders. Look, we got a video today about whether Donald Trump, if he wins, if we'll have a market rally, and if he loses, that the markets will crash. And we're hoping to catch in a lot of more regular people here and they're going to come and watch this video, and then they're going to see Vlad talking in there about ETFs falling apart and everything, and they're going to get scared. You're going to scare them. We don't need to scare the retail. Maybe we should scare the retail. That's a strategy. We should just become like the biggest perma bear ever and get out every day and be incredibly dogmatic and so sure that the markets are just going to go down. And I could be wrong like every day and people will still follow. I bet you. Because I tell you, oh my gosh, I got to tell you guys a story and then it would be time for me to go. So I'm on TikTok again. I know, it's TikTok. There is some really shitty advice on TikTok for trading. So this guy, he is saying, and I'm not going to say who he was, but there's this guy and he's saying, don't use stops. Okay, like I understand the argument because there is this thing where it's like they go just a little bit through your stop and then they immediately turn back around, and you're probably seeing that happen right now. That's exactly what happened here in the 10-year Treasury, right? Is you had your stop set at 21 and then they just bootish and everybody stopped out to 23 and now they're coming back. Totally happens. But the solution to that is not to just not have a stop. The solution to that is to know when that's going to happen and not get involved and get a better entry, right? Well, he says just don't trade a stop. And like, you gotta, we've had these moves that will come in, and I've seen the treasuries move a whole handle before. $1,000 per contract against you, and you don't have a stop, that's probably the end of your account, right? E-minis, this happens all the time. You got to have a stop of some sort. You will regret it if you don't have a stop because you will not be able to click fast enough, right? Anyway, so I tell him this. And he's all like, well, you don't have a whole lot of followers anyways, and yada, yada, yada. Like, I'm looking at it. He has as many followers on TikTok as I have on YouTube. Okay, so I'm sitting here thinking, like, this guy thinks that he's influential, but, I have about as many followers as him, and I don't really consider myself super influential, maybe a little influential on the topic of trading software and hardware in the futures area, and that's about it, right? So for that 4,000 subscribers doesn't mean a whole lot. And I was like, well, I have about as many as you do, but all that proves is that the number of subscribers you have is not indicative of how good your advice is, right? Because I've been saying for a long time, what's popular isn't popular because it works or because it's good advice. What's popular is popular because it fills emotional needs within people, right? So then he's like, well, okay, let me know when people care what your opinion is. And like all of a sudden it dawned on me. I was like, oh, the reason that this guy is so concerned about how popular somebody is because his whole gig is picking stocks and convincing everybody to come in them after him. So he's front running all of his followers. He buys a stock, they buy it after him and pump it up, and then he gets out. And that's the whole gig. That's why he's concerned about it. Like, ugh. And you go in, and how this just like the most irresponsible advice I think you could possibly give. Like if you were like straight up, if you had a product, for instance, and you were under or because of your relationships or whatever, you were under more SEC scrutiny, okay, and you were giving advice like that, I think they would step in. I'm not kidding. You can't say stuff like that. You just can't. Anyways, so that's my story. It made me really mad because I'm like, here's this person. They're bringing in new traders, and he's telling them the dumbest thing you could possibly tell them. And some people will fall for it because they want to believe, So that's my story. It's still the cumulative delta on this is crazy bearish. And I've still got a target down at 3360. It might take them a while to do it. Usually after the stop out from the initial VIX target, which we've already had, there is some sort of a meaningful sideways or consolidation period that might provide a good pullback, and then they go down for it later. Then if they go beyond that, then it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Give them 2 hours. Yeah. So, well, normally I would say, hey, closing prices, they don't really matter, but you know what, when we're getting like a trend day like this, I very much want to see how far they're able to go. That tells me a bit about how many market participants participated in that move and thought that for whatever reason that move was important. And then tomorrow they'll come out and they'll be like, okay, we got a deal, and we'll be right back up at the highs. If and when Trump wins, mortgage your house, credit cards max out, borrow everything, go long 3 times the S&P 500. Oh, I don't know if I could put all that debt into the S&P. So here's the deal, dude. Like, just remember, okay? Even though I think that a Trump win would be positive for the markets, we have to remember that there is a lot of debt out there, and the price to earnings ratios and what you are paying for a stock compared to what you are actually getting in the form of earnings is still quite high. And so I would be extremely careful about committing too much capital into the markets all at once, because during a Donald Trump term, there are probably going to be pullbacks, there are probably going to be some downturns, and there's probably going to be a lot of sideways action in the overall in the next few years, no matter what happens, just because of the valuations and everything. So please don't go and mortgage your house long in the S&P 500. Okay. I think that it's absolutely a great idea to put some money on stocks, and that we could continue to have a bull market under a Donald Trump presidency, but don't take out debt to do it. Okay. I'm not a certified financial advisor, but I am straight up telling you, don't trade with borrowed money, please. Very dangerous. I was reading somebody else, they were saying, should you invest if you have debt? And I think that they were saying, well, if you have credit card debt, you should pay the credit card debt off first, because what you pay in the credit card debt isn't made up for by the markets. But if you have student loan debt, then you should. But I'm afraid that some people were going to read that as, oh, so I should start trading the S&P 500 with my student loan. No, don't do that. Don't trade with that. It's a bad idea. You're just going to owe up. You're just going to owe it all. You're going to borrow $20,000 and then go trade with it. You're just going to owe $20,000. I promise. You're going to make bad decisions if that's the way that you're getting the money. You will never be able to be in a comfortable spot where you can make good trades. It'll just mess with your head. Okay. I'm yapping now. Good day. Good start to the week. Let me give my link to you guys again. Here, go watch this video. Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, markets crash if Trump loses. So go check that video out. Go leave a comment. Tell me I'm wrong. We can argue about it all day. That'd be great. Because I'm sure there's going to be points in there that you think you really agree with and you really disagree with. So I really want to hear it. Let's discuss a ton on that video, right? So I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.